Alright guys, so today we are going to finish our characteristics of life, get into a few other things, but first off, as always, make sure under your modules for today and every day, click on the attendance button and click check in, so that way I know you were here or you logged on later in the day. So, I know you've seen this picture before, and this picture kind of insinuates that we evolved from monkeys. We did not, okay? Charles Darwin, who pretty much explained everything with evolution, he also never said that we evolved from monkeys, because we did not. Rather, we actually share a common ancestor with monkeys. So going back, millions upon millions of years, we could see that maybe there was some species that kind of looked similar to us and monkeys, but it's not like we were once monkeys. Okay, it didn't work like that. So our last characteristic of life, number 8, is adaptations evolve over time. Okay, evolution occurs, in other words. I found this picture too, and I thought this was humorous because with all the fast food and everything, we're slowly evolving into pigs, But anyway, so what is an adaptation? So in any kind of situation, guys, with living things, we should have more than one characteristic for any particular trait. In other words, think of you guys. We can have two different types of ears. We can have ones where like the earlobes dangle or the ones where they're attached. Okay, so there's different traits for everything. We're going to talk about an adaptation of these giraffes here in a little bit. But they're not the only species that, has different adaptations. I talked about us. It could even be something very similar like a lion or a cheetah. Maybe some run faster than others. That's an adaptation, okay? So these are just characteristics that make some organisms different than others, right? Now, some adaptations are really good and some are not good. So an adaptation of running faster, if you're a lion, that's a really good adaptation, An adaptation for like a penguin not to have fur, well, that'd be a really bad adaptation to have because penguins, they live in cold areas. They would need that fur. So this is Charles Darwin. So he became very famous back in the day for his theory of evolution. And I'm going to go to the bottom here, and we're going to talk about natural selection first. What natural selection is, guys, is it says that organisms with the better adaptations are going to survive, and the ones with the not so good adaptations are going to die. And after so many organisms die, we then have had that population evolve, or that population went through evolution, okay? And I'll go through an example of this. It'll be a lot easier. Giraffes, okay? I told you we were going to talk about giraffes. So, a long time ago, there were two different adaptations for giraffes. There were the long neck ones and the short neck ones. Now, up here, get our pen going here. Up here, we have all the food that they can eat, okay, up in the trees. Now, this giraffe right here with the long neck, it's able to eat all the vegetation off of those trees very easily, okay? This short-necked giraffe, it can't, all right? It can't reach the tree. So some scientists during that time said, well, here's what happened. The short-necked giraffes weren't able to reach all the way up, so what they did was they slowly, over like months, maybe even years, stretched their neck up as far as they could. And then over time, their neck became bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, I don't know about you guys. Try to stretch your arm and stretch your arm for weeks at a time. Your arm is not going to get like 5 foot long if you continue to stretch it. It doesn't work like that, okay? So instead, what happened was the long-necked giraffes were able to reach the food. The short-necked giraffes, they were not able to reach the food. And what happened to the short-necked giraffes? Well, they died, okay? Kind of sad. So in that process, if I go back to this, guys, we have the long-necked giraffes and the short-necked giraffes. This is an example of natural selection. The long-necked giraffes were able to get food, and they were able to live. The short-necked giraffes were not able to get food, and they died. That's an example of natural selection, okay? The one living, the other one dying. Once all of those short-necked giraffes died, okay, we only had long neck giraffes left, that is evolution, okay? That's our product of natural selection. That's our outcome of natural selection. All right? Okay, so we're going to go over some different parts that are common to all organisms' cells, okay? Now, I don't want you to think like, okay, well, what if I'm missing something? You know, it's like this guy here, he doesn't have legs. Yeah, he had something go on where he doesn't have legs anymore. But normally in that species, everyone has, you know, legs. So we're going to talk about things that normally every single living organism has. So we have identified a lot of species on the earth. Most of them are bacteria. They're very, very tiny. They're very, very numerous, and we have a lot of different species of them. So far we've identified about 1.5 billion. This guy right here, if we want to still focus on giraffes, he's like, if we go back far enough, he would have common ancestors that are like a mix between a zebra and a giraffe. Kind of weird. It's not like, I'm not saying it's a giraffe and a zebra that come together and mate. But that's what he looks like. His name is a okapi, O-K-A-P-I. So kind of a cool species there. So again, guys, we're going to talk about 4 things that all living things have. So the first one is going to be DNA. Every single organism has DNA in its cells. And what that DNA does, guys, is it tells us everything about us. Tells us why our eyes are a certain color. Tells us why our hair is a certain color. Tells us why, you know, your fingernails look the way they are. Everything about you, all right? The second one is they are going to all contain a cell membrane. Every single cell in your body has a covering on the outside, and that's called the cell membrane, okay? And what that does is it's like, you know, the outside of your house, guys, okay? It protects everything inside of that house. Third one is going to be cytoplasm. Now, inside our house, we have air that we can breathe, okay? The cells are a little bit different. So we have the cell membrane, the outside, and then inside we have this jelly-like material called cytoplasm. And if you remember the first day of us going over this chapter, we talked about organelles, and those are inside of your cell. What the cytoplasm does is it just holds those organelles kind of in place. You can think of it this way too, guys. If you go to the Jell-O mold example, right? The Jell-O mold, the outside of it would be like the cell membrane. All that inside jelly would be the cytoplasm. And if, you know, your Aunt Karen or whatever puts fruit inside of that Jell-O mold, all the fruit would be the organelles, okay? But anyway, so there's 3 so far, guys. They're all going to have DNA. They're all going to have a cell membrane. They're all going to have cytoplasm, and we got one more. But before we do that, let me show you this jelly donut here. So you guys can see it has a nice outer border, and you know inside of a jelly donut, which I'm not a big fan of jelly donuts, but there would be this jelly material. I'm going to say this outside is going to be your cell membrane, okay? So whether it's the glazed part down here or the strawberry frosted part up here, that's your cell membrane. So what would happen if we didn't have a cell membrane? Well, just like the donut, okay, say the I don't know, whatever is inside the jelly isn't like extremely thick, but if we didn't have a cell membrane, all your cytoplasm would just come pouring out of the cell. And that wouldn't be good because you would literally die if this was like all your cells in your body, okay? So we need a cell membrane in order to keep everything inside of our cells. If not, you're dead. Last one. So the fourth one is going to be, ribosomes. Every single one of your cells in your body has ribosomes. And the goal of the ribosome is to make proteins, okay? And what these proteins do, guys, is they're going to build other things up inside of your body. I know like bodybuilders, they take protein every time when they're done working out, okay? So what that does is it builds up their muscles. You guys, you know, let's say you're running track or doing something, you may not take protein afterwards. It's okay, you don't need it because your body actually makes its own protein to repair any damage you did to all your muscles and the rest of your body. So those are your four things, guys, and these are common to every single cell. They have DNA, they have a cell membrane, they have cytoplasm, and they have ribosomes. All right, we're almost done for today, guys. We're just going to go over the three domains of life. There's bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes. So what these domains are, guys, is we used like three separate groups in order to classify or group all of our different organisms we have. They're either going to be bacteria, archaea, or eukarya. We are in eukarya. Most of the organisms that we can see are in eukarya. Bacteria and archaea are going to be the really, really, really tiny ones, okay? So there's another field of, I guess, biology called ecology that we can study. So ecology is when someone talks about and studies the interactions of different organisms in a specific environment, okay? Think of this, guys. If we had, let's say, cheetahs and lions, okay, and seeing the interaction between them. Well, they're both in Africa, and scientists can go and study those interactions, you know. Is the lion going to try and go and eat the cheetah? All right. Possibly, yeah, they kind of will. But then again, let's think of another example. If we were to talk about the interactions between lions and tigers, well, lions are on one continent, Africa, and tigers are on another continent, Asia. They're never going to have any interaction, so we wouldn't have to worry about studying that. But anyway, guys, ecology is just a study of living organisms in an area, in their environment, okay? If you look at this picture here, you know, a lot of these guys, like the deer here, he's going to eat the grass and things like that. If the grass dies, then the deer dies. You know, if the deer dies, then whatever eats the deer is going to die. There's another example of ecology. The study of, well, the great white shark eating the nice little seal there. You know, it happens. Another example would be the lion and the zebra, both in Africa. The lion's going to try to eat the zebra, and the zebra defends itself, so the zebra actually can kick the lion pretty hard and kill it. So the lion should always attack the zebra from the side, so that way it doesn't get kicked in the face. And yeah, they usually do die after that. The zebras are extremely strong. So we'll stop here today, guys. Tomorrow we're going to go over the scientific method. We'll start on that. We'll go with hypothesis writing and try some examples with that. Have a good day, guys. And again, don't forget to check in. Also, homework tonight. If you guys did not do the Chapter 1, Section 1 assignment on Friday, you can do that. And then today you can start on the Chapter 1, Section 2 environment. It's only a few questions, or assignment, I'm sorry. It's only a few questions, guys. It shouldn't take you that long to do. Have a good day.